This is Mike Kemp here, founder of Whatcha Brung JetSki Regatta, and you're listening to Ride by Day, Wrench by Night, presented by VintageJetSki.
Hello and welcome back to Ride by Day, Wrench by Night with me, Cam Wise. Today we are talking to the team behind the Whatcha Brung JetSki Regatta, which will be returning for the 7th year at the Pirates Den Resort, Parker, Arizona on the 5th of June. The three guys behind the show are Mike Kemp, the founder, Jason Schriner from BJ's Performance, and Jason Riviera, the bearded bomber. The regatta will be raising money for two very worthy causes this year to help families going through the effects of cancer. These are Cooking for Cancer and Milemarkers Therapy, which will go into detail about what these organisations do to help out the community during the show. As always, the Whatcha Brung JetSki Regatta has some great prizes on offer, with all proceeds going to these very worthy causes. The first is a 1989 Kawasaki 550 hull with everything done to it, ready for you to drop your engine in and get out and have fun on the water. That's prepared by Jason Schriner of BJ's Performance. Secondly, we have a fully restored 1989 Goodtimes Racing Kawasaki X2 with 750 big pin engine, dual rear exhaust and jet tune back kits, restored and built by Jason Riviera, the bearded bomber. You can win these by going to VintageJetSki.com/raffle for only $50 a ticket, or if you want two, just $75. We'll get into more about these great prizes, the event, and all the things that you can expect to see on the day, plus where you can find out more about these great charities. Now let's get on with the show. All right, thanks, guys. We've got Mike Kemp, Jason Schriner, Jason Riviera on board the Ride by Day, Wrench by Night podcast. Thanks so much for coming on board.
Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Awesome. Well, Mike, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? And we'll just go around the room because we've got Mike Kemp here. He's the founder of the Whatcha Brung JetSki Regatta that's been going on for a number of years now. And we've also got the two Jasons, Jason Schriner and Jason Riviera, who are helping and have looked after and been supporters of this event for a number of years. So look, I'll throw it over to you guys to say g'day.
Hey, Cam, thanks a lot. I'll tell you what, working with these guys has been a relationship that has grown throughout time. So I'm going to throw that out there right now. They've been excellent to work with. We never knew each other until Whatcha Brung. So that's what this event has done, is led me to meet people in the field and get to know them a little bit better. So working with these guys has been awesome. Being the founder, I'll take that title, but realistically, it's I got another buddy involved. He's kind of a silent guy. He's been involved with jet skiing for a while, and his name is Brad Warsh. I actually stay where we hold the event is at Pirates Den, and where we stay down there every summer, and we love the river. Of course, going back in history a little bit, that's where I used to jet ski. As soon as I was able to drive, I'd head down to the river in Parker there and jet ski. And that leads into a little bit of my history with Gary we'll talk about in a little bit here. But meeting Brad on the beach there, I actually met him because one night they come strolling in on their boat late. It's probably midnight on the river. And we see all these people piling off their boat in front of our space, and we're hanging out. And we see this lady kind of trip and fall, and she hits my boat. And we're all kind of like, oh, I hope she's all right. They're all laughing. And we're like, God, they're mean. Like, come on, Mom. It was his mom. And they're all giving her a hard time. And anyways, they walk right up from the dock from us, right in front of our space. And we get to talking. And I happen to be wearing a Jet Trim t-shirt. And that's the night I met Brad, and we kind of hit it off as friends. We started jet skiing. He asked me if I could get some Jet Trim shirts. I'm like, sure. And it just kind of went from there. And then Whatcha Brung was born through him and I discussing how could we put some kind of jet ski thing together on the river where it originated. And the poker run came to mind. And before you know it, we threw that thing together in about 2-3 weeks. And I think we had 17 riders to start this thing off.
Humble beginnings.
Yeah. So I'll take the claim of being founder, but there is another guy involved, and his name's Brad Warsh. So
well, thank you to Brad. Big shout out to him. That. Yeah. And has it always been stand-ups? Actually, you know what? I've got lots of questions about the event itself, how, a little bit more about how it began. I've got a list of them down here, but I wouldn't mind going around the room. So we'll introduce, first off, Jason Schriner from BJ's Performance. He's an excellent engine builder and pretty famous amongst the social media world for his engines, his race skis, the support of racing. I believe he's, got Seth Sears there under his belt that he looks after, who's a fantastic vintage racer. And Jason, welcome.
Hey, appreciate it, Cam. Thanks for having us.
Tell us a little bit about your involvement with Mike and the event over the years.
I think the second year of the poker run was the first year we attended. I don't know if we saw it on social media or if there was like a flyer at a jet ski shop in Havasu or Parker. I don't really remember. Kind of just showed up, and it was a great turnout for year number 2. Like Mike said, it started off at 17. I promise you, year number 2, there was a lot more than 17. I would probably say that there was 100 to maybe 200 people. Mike always has his yearly signups. And Mike will be like, "Oh yeah, we had so many people sign up," and I'm just shaking my head, going, "Dude, there was twice the amount of people." There's kids there that maybe the dads aren't paying $25 a hand for their 3 kids. Dude, there's easily 300 stand-ups, easily. It's insane. Hands down to Mike. Every year he's put it on. I know with COVID going on, it's a big struggle. I know everybody on social media last year was like absolutely devastated when the poker run, was canceled. Obviously, from Mike's standpoint, completely understand. But when people found out that the 2021 is back on, social media just blew up. PWC Today, people were talking about it, how it's back on. A lot of doubters were on the social media pages as well, going, "Oh no, it's a rumor. It's not back on." And I'm just like, dude, it's right here on the main page. People just didn't want to believe it, and I'm just like, look, dude, just go to the main page.
Yeah.
And doubts were 100% gone the following day. So,
fantastic.
Well, to kind of run off of what Jason said there about the second year and whatnot, he's right. We try to keep some stats involved with this, try to be accountable and whatnot. But you're right. We've learned throughout the years, and this was a good way to start into the regatta style event is what we're going to do here. Running on the poker run, we learned throughout the years that not everybody signs up for the poker run. So when we say we did 220 or 240, I think was one of our highest numbers in registered riders. Absolutely, Jason's correct. There could be countless numbers that were right. I know personal friends that didn't do the poker run. They just wanted a free ride the whole weekend and have fun.
Yeah.
And come to the beach and hang out and talk and check all the vendors out and see what's going on and participate that way. So Jason's absolutely right. Our numbers are probably much higher. What those are, I can't put a dot right on what it is. But when you ride the river on a Run Whatcha Brung weekend, every campsite up and down is full of jet skis.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they're all over the place.
Oh, that's awesome. And I want to get into those vendors and the scene and the energy that's on the day and the location. But right now, I just want to have a quick chat and introduction to Jason Riviera, the bomber. Welcome. How you going, mate?
Oh, thanks for having me. Doing great.
My pleasure. Tell us a little bit about your background within the sport as well as this event, because I know I love watching your tuning. You've got an awesome test tank there and some great builds. And one of my favorite things is following along with the progression of your builds on your social media account.
Yeah. Thank you. I got lucky enough and got handed down a bunch of good, useful knowledge from the man Gordy, PJS USA.
Yep.
And it's brought me to where I'm at today.
Fantastic.
And just like Schriner, I think the second year was my first year. I think we saw social media or something. Yeah. And just kind of showed up ready to have some fun. And here we are, going on year 7.
Wow.
Or 8. What are we on? 7?
Well, it might be year 8, but this is jet ski number 7. So, and I think our first year, obviously we didn't do a ski, kind of went from there.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. My involvement with helping out was, after watching a couple of skis, they, slam together, having a couple problems, I wanted to offer my help and help raise some money. So here we are. This is the second ski I've done, helping out Mike.
And that's the big reason this has all come about, because it is for not just the event itself and a lot of fun on the water. It's also for some great causes. And the other reason why the two Jasons are on board today is because they're actually contributors towards some prizes to help out with those fundraisings. And so Jason Riviera is building an excellent X2, which I want to go over in detail. And Jason Schriner is building a custom, I'll let him talk about it further, but a really beautiful custom hull with some amazing parts on there. It's all painted, and there's some really interesting specific paintwork that's got some history behind it. But before we go on to what you can win, the interesting boats that are available, let's touch on why this has all come about and the money that's raised and the great causes that you're supporting there, Mike. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. So, I don't know whose lives have been touched by cancer or not, but, it started with my nephew at the age of 10. Basically, our whole family was advised to be prepared to lose him due to cancer.
Yeah.
And it rattled the family. But, thank God, and we're super stoked. He's 22 years old, has a full-time job, living life and doing really well. But at the time it was bad. So my wife and I and my family, but as far as just my close family, my wife and I, we have really always been involved with fundraisers, raising money for childhood cancers. And we've done things from St. Baldrick's. We raised about 22,000 for that event, blood drives, all kinds of things, to where I wanted to take something that I enjoy doing, jet skiing.
Yeah.
And as this thing grew and the concepts got there, we're like, well, let's give to charities and let's give to the kids that are kind of innocent in all this. And the family's going through their struggles. So that's where that kind of came about.
Because you choose a number of different charities each year to give to. Is that correct?
We've done varieties, but the two main ones have always been, so it was Neurona Effect for a long time.
Yeah.
But charities changed. So Neurona Effect slid into what we do now is called Milemarkers Therapy.
Okay.
And it's still a travel for treatment type program. So, and I happen to actually sit on the board of that. And what we do is we review things. For example, let's say a child needs a special prosthetic, a shoe or a something like that to help them walk or something. Mm-hmm. That'll all be brought in front of the board, and we all take a consensus and say, does this meet the criteria? And we're going to help this family out. Yes, we all take a vote. We do that for travel too. We do gas cards, pay their insurance. We don't necessarily hand physical money to people. We review their situation and we help them out with bills, travel, special needs, i.e. like the shoes or crutches or something that would assist the child in getting through whatever they're going through. So anybody who goes through cancer, I could tell you now, if it's severe, which usually it is, the families are tied down. Somebody, I don't know what the percentages are, but somebody's probably most likely losing a job.
Yeah.
So there's a financial hit, the anxiety, the stress on top of what they're going through to deal with their child. So it really drove from there. The other charity we always help.
Before we go on to that, I just want to give a quick shout out. If anybody wants to find out some more information, I've just looked up there on Instagram just to keep some updates in their feed. It's Milemarkers Fun. So at Milemarkers Fun. And I assume if you Google that, you'll be able to find their website and some more information. Is that right, Mike?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Great. And they do address people, granted, for anybody who's listening that are not local to Havasu, the Parker kind of river area, we do address those areas. It's very rare that we go really outside that parameter, even though probably a huge part of our group or people that show up to the event are from other areas. I mean, many states away. So we just appreciate everybody coming in and knowing that what they're doing and what we're all doing is going to a good cause, regardless if it's not in their area or whatnot. It's definitely helping out families up and down the river.
And that's a great thing. People can have fun and know that a percentage of something that they're involved with is going to help other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's winning all around. So tell us, the other organization you work with is Cooking for Cancer. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
That's another event we got involved with, my wife and I, a lot. We actually go and participate that and help. We help them during the event. Usually, like the night of the event, we'll go there and do whatever they need us to do. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of similar, same thing, very local, Havasu Parker area. And the lady, Lisa, that puts it on, her daughter passed away from cancer, and her daughter was trying to put this together right before she passed. So it's been a goal of her mom, Lisa, to make that happen.
Yeah.
So they've done really successful, and we love being part of it, but they too also serve families, and they do something similar. So what you do with that group is you could go to them and go, my mortgage payment is this much, my electric is this much, my water is this much, and they'll go pay those things. Again, they're not just going to hand out cash to people. They're going to pay those bills. So when those bills are paid, it eases the burden on the people's budget, household budget. So that we know they're going to travel, and it costs money when you travel. You got rooms, you got fuel, you've got food. I mean, the list goes on and on. So it's not cheap, and they're not living the high life. I assure you, they're trying to get through their struggle of their child. So taking care of those necessary bills and freeing up their other money is a huge difference in these people's lives.
Massive. And how can people find out more? Is there a website that they can go to?
There's a Facebook page. I'm not too sure if there's a website on that.
That's okay.
I've never gone to it. I apologize.
No, that's all right. I mean, you're a bit,
even though I've been involved.
Yeah, you're a bit closer. You don't need the social media side of it. But look, I think if people Google or go to Facebook and look up Cooking for Cancer, they'll notice it's from Havasu, and that's the one we're talking about.
Yeah.
And the way you've been doing it over the years has been getting the community involved, because it's not just you. You couldn't do this just by yourself. You've got the likes of these two Jasons, plus many vendors and businesses, friends of families that are supporting not only the sport, but are supporting these great causes. Can you tell us a bit about the mechanism? So you've been giving away skis every year, apart from last year, for the name of these great causes. Tell us a bit about that.
So I think I want to step back. Actually, so I looked it up. It's called Heidi Edwards Cooking for Cancer Foundation. You can look that up on Facebook.
Fantastic.
That's the information. I wanted to get the exact name of it. It wasn't just Cooking for Cancer, but so back to the skis. We got a wild, crazy idea one year, and we're like, what if we raffled off a jet ski? It's a jet ski event. Why don't we get a jet ski? So, jet skis, you can't just throw whatever together, because the day that you need it to run, it doesn't want to run, of course. And you're like, oh man. So we whipped this thing together. We had it wrapped, and that wasn't such a great idea, but it worked out. And seriously, a couple of days before, it wasn't running. Something went south in the motor. And thank God my buddy Brad, the other starter of the poker run, of course, he happened to have a 550 motor sitting there in his garage. So he's like, and he lives in Peoria. He's like, next weekend I'm coming down. We're bringing that. We're going to throw it in there. And it ran, and we made it happen. And it's progressively, people like both Jasons here saw it. I think they saw what we could potentially do, and it's turned into that. The skis that are being produced by these guys and other people that get involved are pretty much complete teardown, complete paint, motors gone through, aftermarket parts.
They're getting basically a brand new ski from the best builders in the industry. I'm looking at your page at the moment.
Pretty damn close.
Yeah.
Pretty damn close.
If people go to RWB Poker Run, they'll look at the ones in the past, and it's just unbelievable. I think most people would kill for these skis, and yet for a very low price of $50 for an entry, they're getting something that would not only take a long time, for serious skill to put into it with respects to paint, the engine building, the tuning, but some of these parts, they're not easily accessible. You can buy new parts, like you've got the likes of Gordy making those PJS manifolds, ride plates, intake grates, which are fantastic, but some of this stuff you just can't get. Without the likes of these two Jasons having their finger on the pulse and being able to supply them and knowing who's got what, they just wouldn't exist. So some of these skis that you could maybe put a dollar figure, well, I don't think you could. The amount of hours that goes into it, they're really priceless. So yeah, they're certainly an amazing prize to win. And every year you're giving one away. And this year it's basically two, a full X2 and an amazing hull. So
Yeah.
I guess that makes up for last year, doesn't it?
Yeah, a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Well, let's have a chat to Jason Schriner, and he can give us the rundown of everything that he's doing now for the ski, and maybe some of your past experiences too, Jace.
Well, past experiences of the poker run, it is what it is. It's in my mind, it is the best event that the Western Hemisphere has. I tell multiple people that drive from out of states that, hey, I understand World Finals is fun. It's a party time. For us racers, it's 7 full days of trying to make everything the best of the best. But I try to tell people, like, if you want a great event, you got to go to the poker run. There's buddies from Ohio, Florida, Texas, New Mexico that they make the travel, and it's just like they get here and they go, "You're absolutely right. We've been to World Finals. Now we've been to the poker run. It's hands down the best event." A lot of them say, it's a long travel for 2 days, but it's like, dude, nobody's telling you not to come out sooner. Like, you can show up on a Wednesday. There's still going to be people there. Maybe not 300 to 400 stand-ups, but for sure, there's never a dull moment in the state of Parker, Arizona.
Yeah, and I guess you're seeing people that you might have interacted with online but never seen, but it brings everyone together and it gives them a chance. And I guess, look, these skis don't always run, but when you've got so many great, talented people within the industry, there's someone there to help you with parts, with technical experience, helping tune. And I find that that's part of the community and why it's so great.
For sure. Like Riviera, he's got more skis than I've ever seen in my life. And he brings all of his buddies out. And,
true fact.
Riviera, who's the off-road guy that you brought? You know who I'm talking about, though. The shorter Mexican guy.
My buddy, his nickname is Loco Jones.
Loco, yeah. Loco.
Jones.
I don't think he ever rode a jet ski a day before the poker run. And shit, he had more fun than me and Riviera put together. Like,
True story.
Yeah. So for Mike, I'll say it 100 times probably on this podcast, hands down, best event. There's nothing else like it. I promise you, if you come from Hawaii to Florida, this is the event. I promise you.
Wow. Appreciate that, Jason.
So the jet ski hull that we are donating, it is a 1989 Kawasaki 550. The original builder of it was a legend, Gary from Jet Trim. A lot of people call him Super G. I actually found this at a jet ski salvage yard. It was nothing but the hull.
Wow.
There were some telltale signs that I knew it was a Super G ski. Nobody back then would cut a tray like Gary. The other telltale sign was every Jet Trim part was on it. Like, you couldn't afford this stuff, back then. Like, there was almost $1,000 worth of Jet Trim stuff on it.
Wow.
So when I saw it, the owner of the salvage yard, his name's James. I said, "Hey, James, how much do you want for that jet ski? It's sitting up on the rafters. Like, it's 14 feet up outside. It's never seen a wash in probably 5 years." And he's like, "Oh, give me $100 for it." Literally grabbed my wallet. I went to go grab for my wallet, and he's like, "Hey, you know what? I'd rather have an In-N-Out double." And I'm like, "So you want me to go get you In-N-Out?" He's like, "Yeah, go get In-N-Out and you can have it." 15 minutes later, I had the sweatiest double with, large, Coke, and his eyeballs were just like, "Thank you, dude. Take the jet ski."
Just what he wanted at the time. Fastest way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
So it was sitting outside for some years. It definitely needed a lot of cleanup. But other than that, it's a traditional front exhaust that somebody converted to an SX. So it's got the rear exhaust in it. I couldn't tell you for 100% fact if Gary did that. The reason why I would think Gary did it was obviously he already did the wide tray himself. So ideally what we did was...
That's a lot of work too, isn't it? Because you've got to cut out, and measure it perfectly and get the foam out.
Gary was notorious with his wide trays. He loved keeping the fire extinguisher tube in the back. And, to do a wide tray with keeping the fire extinguisher tube, it's not 100% difficult, but it definitely takes a lot more precision on the cutting, because ideally if you get too, happy with the Sawzall, you're just going to cut right through it. So from that standpoint, I think I owned the ski for probably 2 years. I just was saving it for a special project, not really telling myself, oh, it's going to be a raffle boat for the poker run. I just kept it. Like, you can't find stuff like that. So 2 years ago, for the last year poker run, me and Richie Rich from Havasu, he's a painter from Havasu. I called him up one day and said, hey, look, I got an idea. Do you want to be a part of it? And, gave him the whole spiel. He's met Gary in the past, and obviously all of Richie's skis have jet trim on it. So it was a no-brainer for him. And I appreciate him, willing to donate his time. Obviously, when we found out COVID was coming, me and him were kind of talking back and forth going, dude, I don't think this poker run's going to happen, this year.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, if you want to pump the brakes on it, just, pump them. And about 2 months ago, Richie called me and said, hey, dude, it's done. And I'm just like, well, shit, what are we going to do with it? Like 2 months ago, there was no regatta.
Yeah.
There was nothing. And I'm just like, well, what do you want to do? And me and him, we brainstormed some ideas, and we're trying to figure out, like, how can we finish the boat, and how are we going to donate it, or are we going to sell it and then donate the proceeds from that to a charity? But literally, as the gears were spinning, Mike shoots me a text, and I'm pretty sure he did the same thing to Riviera. Can you get your shit ready in time? And I'm like,
pretty much.
Boom.
And even for Riviera, it's 10 times worse for him. He's actually building a complete ski, which hands down to him. Jason, you've done a great job with the past years. And even with this build, an X2, it can be a little bit more difficult than a 550 for sure, especially with Jason teaming up with Owen, doing the double rear exhaust. I'm not going to get into it. That's his build, but dude, phenomenal. It's going to be a head turner for sure, 100%. By all means, I don't ever want to, try to take the spotlight from anybody. So I told Mike, like, hey, instead of building a complete ski, why don't we just offer a custom hull? Not like a runner-up prize, but for somebody that per se has a good running 550, but that just can't afford a wide tray, can't afford custom paint, can't afford an aftermarket hood, can't afford rear sponsons and front sponsons. Well, what's the next best thing? Let's just raffle off that,
Yep.
So, it's up to Mike how he's going to do, the ticket sales and stuff like that. If he's going to separate them, or if he's going to, do a second runner up or whatever, that's completely up to him. Maybe when Riviera's done talking after this, let Mike discuss how he's going to do the breakdown. But by all means, it's going to be a great hull for somebody that is just in between stages of financial situations to where they really want something better, but maybe they just can't afford it, so.
And it's iconic. Like, can you just describe the colors as well? And let me just touch on, I know, you've got some amazing carbon products of your own, but those twin intake hoods that are reproduction by you, they are seriously in hot demand. I don't think there's a better hood out there for a pro modified boat. It just looks so good. One, it's functional because it lets in the air, but two, it's the best looking, I would say, because it's, I'm not sure how you want to put it, but it looks similar to Jeff Jacobs' ones in the early 90s. It's awesome.
Yep. So by all means, like, when somebody messages me for some fiberglass stuff, like, we literally call it the jammer hood.
Sweet.
Everybody knows it because of Jeff.
Yep.
I try to tell people it's a PJS hood. It's irrelevant. They just go, well, I didn't know, PJS made hoods. I just seen it on Jeff's boats. So it does have a Jeff Jacobs replica hood. It is 50-50 carbon, meaning there is glass with carbon. We've tried to take some weight away with giving it a great look. So, and then for the paint job, me and Richie, we're big time into trucks, in the customized world. A lot of them call them baggers or mini trucks or full size on bags. Me and Richie are both Suburban fans. If anybody's been on my Instagram or on Richie's Instagram, everybody knows we got murdered out Suburbans. He's in a different generation than mine. I think he's like 80 to 86. And then I'm from 86 to 96. So, but that's how me and Richie clicked up. me and Richie used to bullshit all the time. Richie's got some badass painted stuff for sure. And
it looks amazing.
We were always eyeballing each other's shit. Like, mine's louder than yours, or yours is louder than mine. Like, but when you put both skis side by side, you're like, dude, they're both flaked to the moon. Like, it looks like you're at a Chicano car show for sure.
So it's green and blue, and is it purple? What are the
purple
colors? Yeah, cool.
It is purple. So we went with like a full 1990s theme mini truck. A lot of Toyotas, a lot of Chevy S10s. It's asymmetrical, so one side does not match the other. Traditional mini trucks, it's as wild as possible, and matching one side to the other doesn't flow with mini trucks. It's all out or it's nothing. Like, you go to a car show, you either have a 10 or you got a 2.
Yeah.
Just because it's not in everybody's budget for paint. A lot of mini trucks are probably $20,000 to $30,000 paint jobs. But Richie actually did a great job. The green foundation is actually the green that Gary painted back in '89.
Wow.
So considering the green is 100% authentic, and every color on top of it is, I think it was shot within the last 6 months. So
nice.
I know Tim Bartee is going to get his hands on it and put some logos on it. Probably take it to the next best thing, from a 10 to an 11, which is extremely difficult to do. A lot of painters get painter's block. And I've seen Tim's look at this, go, what the hell are we going to do? But every time I go to pick it up, it just gets more confusing and more confusing. But in my world, that's what I want. I don't want people just to go up to it and be like, oh, dude, I could have done that in my garage. It's like, no, you're not going to do it.
Yeah. So whoever wins this is not only getting a jet ski hull, they're getting a piece of history.
For sure.
From Gary Hull.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of people struggle to find something that Gary physically worked on. Like, people that are truly vintage inspired, they'll never have anything. And literally, I just gave mine away. Like, literally, Kelly Hart was nice enough to, per se, let me store Gary's personal ski in my shop. It is actually hanging up on a wall.
That's cool.
I don't think it'll ever touch water. It's not in my place to. I know Gary's looking down at me. I've known Gary for a long, long time. God bless his soul. But I know Gary's looking down on me going, you piece of shit, put that thing in the water. That's where it belongs. But you know what? Gary meant a lot to me. Growing up as a kid with my younger brother, Brooks, and my younger brother, Scooter, a.k.a. Brian Holland. My younger brother, Brian, he worked for Gary for a number of time until he passed away. And I think that was kind of the merge of his leaving Jet Trim. I think that was, the main reason why he was working there, is because Gary looked after him like a friend, not just an employee. And I know that's very difficult as a business owner.
Yeah.
But Gary meant a lot. And I know he meant a lot to a lot of people. Gary was not a solo person. Gary, when Gary showed up to Body Beach, he was like a flock of seagulls. They all came over.
Well, I think that makes it more, not just unique, but special to someone that would win this. And hopefully they understand that too. And if they don't, now they know how much, how significant it is.
By all means, it's a raffle. It's going to go to somebody lucky. I truly hope it does go to somebody that knows what it truly is, but by all means, it's the luck of the draw.
But even if they don't, then they're welcomed into this unique family of ours, into this community, and then they will have a conversation piece to start talking to basically anyone, a ticket for friends for the rest of their life.
100%. 100%.
Well, look,
I got to interject here at this point, but I'm with Jason. Having done this poker run and raffled off skis and seeing them go out of house, let's call it out of house, like somebody who wanted to buy a ticket to help out the cause, and they win the jet ski and they come to pick it up and they ask, where's the drain plug? And you really want to just like, I say this in a nice way, but you want to bitch slap them. And you're like, you mean to tell me you want a jet ski and you want to know where the drain plug is?
Yep.
And that did happen one year, and we got that resolved because one of our sponsors is, we call him Lily Pad Andy, or Andy the Lily Pad guy, but he donates a lily pad every year. He's a great guy, always a good sponsor event. He was looking for a jet ski, and I think it was our first year raffle ski, and he actually I knew he was looking for the ski, really wanted to win it. This guy won it, but he was really looking for a lily pad because he would put in for the lily pad also and didn't win it. So a couple phone calls, and these two were shaking hands and in love, and one got a lily pad and the other one got his jet ski, and everybody was off and happy. So it was pretty good.
Couldn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. G'day, legends. Hope you're enjoying this episode of Ride by Day, Wrench by Night. We've got a great offer for you at VintageJetSki.com. Simply use code RIDEBYDAY to save $20 on every purchase over $200 when you shop at Vintage Jet Ski. Now let's get back to the boys behind the Whatcha Brung JetSki Regatta. On that note, the other prize, the X2, Jason the Bomber Riviera. Do you want to tell us a bit about your build and what you've got in the works for us?
Yeah, I got a 1989 X2. It all started with 2019's raffle ski out of the event, and Mr. Bob Cohen's Mr. Goodtimes Racing saw the event on social media, wanted to come check it out. He'd been out of the jet ski game for 20, 30 years and loved what we all did and wanted to help donate the next year, which would have been last year, but it, wasn't happening. So we, same thing like Jason did. We, got in touch with it. We were in the process of building the ski and we found out it wasn't going to happen because of COVID. We pumped the brakes a bunch and literally the ski didn't get touched till Mike called me and said, "Hey, this event's on.
Get working."
Kind of dropping bombs everywhere.
And here we are. The ski was white, 3 weeks ago? And I'm looking at it right here. It's got a nice, beautiful paint job. It's waiting for me to start assembling it here.
And I believe it's a replica of the paint job of Jeff. Is it Pierre, the Bad Bones X2 rider from back in the 90s?
Jeff Poison Preer.
Right. I just don't know the pronunciation. Yeah. That's him. That's the man.
Yep.
Yeah. That's one thing that Bob wanted to jump on board, and he wanted to donate his ski. He just asked, "Hey, if I'm donating a ski, can we build a replica of my my winning X2s from 1989 and 1995?" We said, "Sure." So here we are.
And it's full circle because you've got Jet Trim's hump seat on there, which is iconic from back in the day.
Yeah.
Yes. That'll be good done.
Identical, 100% to the T. Port. Only thing it's not going to have is a total loss. We want to make it more turnkey for the wreck rider. We don't know who's going to win it, but I have a bunch of good bunch of good parts, bunch of good goodies.
It's a 750 engine that you're putting in there. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, it's a big pin 750. I went out and bought a sit down, robbed all the parts out of it to make this build happen. Got a nice port job by Bob himself. Actually, both of us. I got my hands in there. He showed me some tricks and 750 big pin port, custom dual exhaust, custom dual water box.
Very cool.
Which is even better. None of the parts are even made yet. I'm all in the next 3 weeks. It's all going to go together.
It's going to be a midnight job, burning that midnight oil, I bet.
I haven't even cut the hole yet. The hole's still original. I haven't even cut it for the exhaust yet.
Can you tell us how that dual exhaust is going to work?
Yeah, so kind of goes in the water box and the resonator water box, you want to call it, and it comes out too.
Oh, right.
And
so,
then just got
so it'll go pipe, then a tube, then to the water box, and there'll be two outlets from the water box. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And then one going down each side, underneath the foot of your tray, exiting the back.
That's a lot of work. So, yeah, again, whoever's getting this is getting something pretty modded up and unique.
Yeah, being it's what I do. Actually, my day job, I'm a welder, so to me, that stuff's easier than building the ski.
Yeah,
welding the stuff up real quick.
But you've had years and years of experience to do it, and you might think it's easy, but not many people. Just like Jay Schriner, he might find it quick and easy, but that's taken years.
Still to this day, I've never learned how to weld aluminum. So I know Riviera knows what he's doing. I've just started learning how to weld stainless. I've welded steel for years, but hands down to Riviera, doing his thing and, making everything as best as possible.
No, you guys are champions. Could you put a price on a build like this, what it would actually cost someone, including labor, parts, paint, everything to get it up to the standard that someone is going to win this?
Actually, we haven't really kept track, but can roughly put a ballpark. I mean, definitely a lot of time, a lot of custom parts, even the paint. I mean, I'd say 14K.
Wow.
On a full build like this.
It doesn't surprise me because there's a lot of parts. Actually, I will go back into that, but just want to put this in people's heads. They can get something for $14,000 plus a priceless piece of history from Jason Schreiner's hull for $50. That is extremely cheap. And, you can enter as many times as you want. We'll give you some details soon. We'll have a chat to Mike about how to enter, the price, the way it's going to work. But again, I just want to reiterate that you're getting something that's worth over 10 grand, something you probably couldn't replace in a hurry for $50. It's nothing. It's, a night out, really, not even.
Yeah. Both the paint jobs on both my ski and Shriners, it's $3 to $5 grand just for the paint.
Yeah. Wow. That's so good. So can you tell us, there's been some contributors as well. I mean, you're putting in all this time and you've found a lot of these parts yourself, but I believe there's other people that have come on board to donate parts for the build.
Yeah. Obviously Jet Trim, thankful for them on board. Every year they've helped out.
Yep.
Something new this year, we got AJ's Performance. Some guys over in Europe donated a steering stem. I got a parts list. I'm still trying to round up a couple other things, but that's pretty much, I'm trying to think.
You got Gordy's.
Gordy.
Yeah, Gordy's helped
Gordy.
out. Yep.
A manifold and a carb. And a bunch of little small pits. He donated gaskets. He actually donated Gordon. I think Gordon donated pistons for the build.
We can't go far without them.
Jason,
No.
C57 Racing, right? Crank?
Oh, yeah, there you go. C57 Chris over at C57 Rain Have a Suit the Crank. I don't have I'm on my phone here. I don't have my list or my email. Ross, I think Ross. Things, steering, billets, squirrel cage, some pissers. It's about really it. Bolt on. All the rest is all me, all the custom welding. Something cool too. We're gonna have. I'm in the works of building a custom X2 gas tank out of aluminum. Become kind of cool and fancy.
Again, unique, something you can't just get off the shelf. This is super exciting, and I'm so grateful, as I'm sure Mike is, for your contribution, not just this year, but over the years for the event. Before we'll swing back around to you, Jace, but can you just tell us, what was your, if you had one memory of any of the years, even if it's right now in the build process, what's your best memory from the event for, what have you seen? What sticks in your head as the most fun that you've had at this event? Tell us about that.
Most fun, let's see.
Which one? Which thing?
Can I interrupt Riviera real quick?
Hit it.
Go for
So
it.
my fondest memory of Poker Run is Jason Riviera's buddy that showed up in the Mexican wrestling mask.
That was loco and nuts.
Yep.
Mask.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So that's one of my top, seeing somebody ride in a Mexican wrestling mask is
The one you can't even see it wearing it, walking around somewhere, and you're riding a jet ski wearing it. Yeah.
Yep.
Give some flavor.
There's so many good memories. It's hard to think of one. I mean, shit. It's just so fun. And there's so many people hanging out, talking. So many. It's just so cool. You look over the water, and it's just the endless amount of skis. It's just a sea of skis.
Yeah. And is it mostly stand-ups? I mean, I know you guys don't discriminate, but is it majority people on stand-ups doing this?
Yeah, stand-ups. X2s. Definitely a lot more vintage skis out there than newer skis, I'd say.
So you're invading the lake. It's all vintage.
Yeah, the river.
The river, sorry. Yeah.
I would say the base of it is vintage skis, as well as we call it a stand-up jet ski event, basically. So we do get our sit downs, but we try to acknowledge the stand-up vintage part as what our event wraps around. What I've seen, which is cool, you get somebody who rode a stand-up back in the day, let's say, and can't quite do that currently, but they're bringing their kids, but they want to ride the sit down to go out and still have the fun that they experience with their kids that they're bringing and introducing to the sport. So of course we never say no, or we never question it, because it really is a great family event also. So we see a lot of that kid, the younger ones growing up and coming in the sport and out free riding with their families, and the moms and dads it's sometimes on a boat, sometimes on a sit down. A lot of times they all got stand-ups. It's awesome.
Oh, that is so good. And Jason Schriner, what can you tell us about, other than that, your favorite memory with the bomber? Tell us a bit more about what to expect when they pull up, they've parked, they get there, they're ready to set up, and it's going to be a great weekend. Tell them what's next.
I'll tell you what, anybody that's been there, they already know.
Yeah.
So from me to the podcast, if you are thinking about making the drive, you better hold the hell on. I promise you. You better have your eyes held open with toothpicks, because there's not going to be one dull moment.
Yeah.
I promise you. And anybody knows who I am. Even Mike, we get loud. you just better put your seatbelt on, and you better be ready for Monday morning, that drive home, because it's going to kick your ass. I promise you.
And so, Mike, it's at the Pirates Den is the location?
Yep, Pirates Den right there in Parker. It's actually inside of La Paz County Park down there, but they have their own little section, Pirates Den, and they have an outside bar, and right next to the white sandy beach, and that's where we hold our event.
And you'd advise people, I mean, obviously it's a big event. You want to make the most of your drive out there. So most people would get there on Friday. Is that right? On the 4th of June?
Correct. Friday. So Friday night is, of course, let me back up a little bit. Our event used to be ginormous. Let's say that. We had a lot going on that thing. So in order to put it on this year, and to come back to why I had to call these guys on short notice and say, hey, can you fricking make this happen? I got hit up by several other groups, never mind all the little rumblings online. You hear about all that and people wanted it. And the size of this event was so big that if I didn't start immediately following the end of the current event and start planning, it was tough to put it all together. So, and with COVID, even early on for this year, I was still getting people resistant to commit to things. That's why we were really leaning towards not holding it. But as a couple people talked to me and really hit me up hard and said, hey, can we simplify it and to make it happen? We didn't want to lose the mojo and the fun and what we had built. And I'm not talking me. I'm talking these guys, both Jason or other sponsors, Pro Watercraft, Jet Trim, Arizona Freeway has been involved for a long time. All these guys have always put into it as well. The people who volunteer, my family, all them, we've all built something great, and we just didn't want to lose that. So conversation started, and it was, if we can make this super fun, but as simple as possible to condense it so we could put it on in basically 2 months.
Yeah.
My number one phone call, I should say 2 phone calls, were to these gentlemen. And it was, because by eliminating all the other things, our primary fundraiser will be these skis. Because we had registration and other thing. We will be selling shirts. They're getting printed as we speak. They should be done next week or 2. We'll have some other goodies, but I mean, really, to have what we had in the past, we really had to descale it down a little bit to make it fit per se. But I really feel good about, because we've talked about calling it a regatta for quite some time, because really what it is, it's about, the poker run's been fun, but really it's about the getting togethers, the making the memories we were just talking about. And a regatta style is really where it's at when you do that. You got people that they come up and they like, I haven't seen Jason Riviera in, I don't know, 6-8 months. We rode last year. Hey, you want to go for a ride? Yeah, we're going in. It's a free, there's no time schedule or anything like that. You do what you want and enjoy the weekend. Of course, come and talk to the vendors, come and talk to the Riveras and the Shriners that are up on the beach with the display of awesomeness. Really. I mean, the glitter and gold that goes around Shriner's camp is phenomenal. So, you get to go see these guys. You get to go see what they're building, what they're doing, what's the latest, greatest. It'll be there. So really that's what's evolved to. Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about it is these guys are so accessible. They're so willing to share their time. Obviously they're there to have fun as well, but go up to them, have a chat to them, ask them a question. They're only too happy to help out other people in the sport. But if you're someone that loves to build yourself in your own garage, again, that's where these guys can impart some knowledge on you and tell you what not to do, and then maybe direct you in a direction that will help you become a better engine builder yourself. Or if you're not really that guy that wants to spend time in the garage wrenching, man, you can purchase some amazing customs. Talk to either of them, whichever flavor you want, and get something built. It probably will take time because they're not exactly free right now or any time throughout the year. They've booked out. They're in extremely high demand, but have a chat to them to get a custom build of your own, because the ones that they pump out, they're so good. And you won't be disappointed. So have a chat to either of them. Mike, what can you say about the raffle itself? So obviously sometime during the 5th, which is when the actual day is, which is the 5th of June, a Saturday, tell us about the drawing of the raffle itself. What time do you think that'll be?
It'll probably be about around 8:00 our time in the evening.
Plenty of beers would have been had by this stage.
Oh, for sure. But, and to continue in the night. So we do have a band that night. We're going to have a lot of fun, late in the afternoon, kind of I call it a really good fun kind of party atmosphere, laid back, really casual. As always, we'll have a ton of giveaways, not just the jet skis. We asked these guys, I mean, it got so huge with raffles that I had to bring a whiteboard instead of just calling out a ticket and rattling off the number. Of course, everybody's having fun. Nobody's listening. So it's not even worth it. But we learned, and I learned from going to a car show, write them on a whiteboard. So as people are out jet skiing, having fun, they purchased a ticket. They get the right to win if we draw, So it became a situation where people will be out riding, but we drew their ticket. We write it on the dry erase board. They come in, they're soaking wet, sandy. They're like, "Hey, did we win anything?" And they go down, "Man, that's my number." So they come over to the table and they grab what they won, and people loved it. So they're not missing out.
That's exciting.
By purchasing a raffle ticket. So
yeah,
I'd say by 8, we're probably going to make the big drawings around 8 that night and see who wins. And of course, with both of these skis, we're going to be selling them for $50 a ticket or 2 for $75.
Right.
We're going to have 2 separate drawings. It's not a runner-up. Schreiner's jet ski is not a runner-up by any means. It is a full-on, legit, custom, badass build.
Yep.
To me, both equally built for their arena. So the X2, fully functional running custom boat. The 550 minus a motor only. So like Schriner said, you got a stock 550 you've been motoring around on. Hell, even if you got a 440, whatever you got, you could literally swap your parts over into there. And you got a fully custom to be proud of, like that fast. So,
but that's a pretty good deal. So $50 for one, and you have to choose which one you go into. But
correct.
You can, for $75, you can get 2, which means
and you can drop one in each bucket if you want.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, for everyone at home, if you're going to be there on the day, obviously you can take home your ski. However, if you're not, and you can buy raffle tickets right up until I'm assuming the day, if they see you. Is that right, Mike?
Well, so when we do it, when we discuss, so you could buy them online, but it's going to be, you got to send us an email to get your ticket.
Yeah.
But we're going to stop that at the end of
the May 31st. Is that right? Any online tickets are going to end by then, because that gives us and yourself a chance to get that ticket and that information out to the entries, the raffles.
Correct. And it's just tough down at the den. I got to be honest, our cell service and our Wi-Fi is sketchy at best.
Yeah.
So if people are punching this stuff online, we're going to miss it. So we don't want to miss it. So we're going to stop the online early, but anybody in the area come to me, they could come to the den. The den will be selling them. I think our launch time will be next week sometime, where we launch the ticket sales. If you're in and around the Parker area, or you're in Havasu and know me or something, you could always hit me up and I take care. I've done that for years. The den will be selling them, so you could buy them right there at the den. And all the way up until pretty close to the drawing, if you're at the event, we'll be selling tickets.
Fantastic. So for those that want to buy it online, we've come on board and have offered, we've actually got a page on our site that if you go to www.vintagejetski.com/raffle, or even if you just go to our site, you'll see there'll be a big panel up there with all the information about the Run Whatcha Brung event. You can purchase your ticket, so it'll just be a drop down of $50, and you can choose whether it's the Hull or the X2 or both, and just purchase it from there. We will not be we're just an intermediary to help as a platform. We're not taking any money. The money will go directly, once you check out, straight to Mike Kemp. There's nothing to do with us. It's just going to be passed on. Your email and details will be sent to him, and that his team will then email you with all of your raffle ticket information. So you'll be a physical raffle ticket that they'll take a photo of and email you with your name and number on the side, so that it's legitimately physically in the pot ready for them to pick out. So allow for 1 or 2 days for them to get that email out to you. But that's just another easy way for you to buy it right up until the 31st of May. But you can physically, you can contact Mike, you can physically buy them from the den right up until the event, which is super exciting.
That's awesome. We appreciate that, Cameron.
Oh, my pleasure. It's just such a good cause and it's such a great event. So we're really excited to be able to help out and be a part of it in a small way. The other question that you've probably got on the tips of your tongue, what if I can't make it? Can I still be involved? Now, the answer is yes, but the shipping will be on you. So if you're lucky enough to get this hull, even if you're overseas or from another country or from, another state on the other side of the country, you can still win it. You will just, the skis will stay with Mike and they'll be tucked up there in his garage. The onus will be on you to organise the shipping, which the value of these skis is so high that the shipping is basically negligent. You paid $50 to win something, so whatever it costs you to get it, you are still winning. Yeah, that's right, isn't it, Mike?
Correct. That's the way we'll handle it. You definitely got to pay for the shipping if you're not local, or if you're another state and you want to show up and pick it up. Absolutely.
Hey guys, can I interrupt real quick?
Sure.
So even with that being said, for the public that's out there that's going to be considering buying a raffle ticket from another state, guys, I ship jet skis from California and we ship them from Florida to Boston, New York, Pennsylvania. And literally you would think, oh, it's big buku dollars. It is not. If you truly won Jason Riviera's X2 or my hull, it's literally a matter of $300 to $500, just depending on what you declare the shipping insurance. So don't think it's going to be over $1,000. I have never paid over $600 to ship a ski from here to the East Coast. So just tell yourselves, hey, it's not going to happen overnight with COVID. I bet a lot of these transportation companies are very, very busy. So just give it time. But literally, the second it gets picked up, generally you're going to have a boat within 7 to 8 days. So just keep that in mind.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, boys, do you have anything more to add from the engine builders in the room?
I'm fine. I'd like to hear a little bit more from Riviera, what he's got planned. It looks like an awesome boat. If he's got any more inside details.
Yeah, hit us, Jace.
Yeah, no, it's pretty. Trying to think here. I had some notes on my phone, but yeah, shoot, just keep it ported motor, gas tank, custom exhaust.
You doing twin carbs or single carb?
I'm gonna go single. Keep it more for the wreck.
Yep. And then, are you doing the custom gas tank for this ski?
No, that's something I'm actually gonna start pumping out. I think it should be pretty good.
Nice,
awesome.
I actually got two of them in the works. Got an oversized tank and a stock tank that's retrofitted, fit in there nice, and it's gonna be actually cool. It's gonna have an e-box mount on it.
Nice.
I can't imagine how good it will be to be at the event for many, many reasons. The fun that you're going to have, being on your skis, the people you're going to meet. But you know what I'd be interested in is seeing the look on that person's face when they win it. Because either of these skis would be just, it's like a dream come true. I think it's going to be such a sick event. And it only keeps getting better and bigger each year. So we're going to keep the updates coming on our social media feed from both of the Jasons. We're looking forward to sharing it with you. I think what we should probably touch on is there's so many vendors out there that contribute, like you said, Mike, that you give away products through the raffle that may not be the main prize draw, but there's an ability for people to win, jet trim, and I assume pro watercraft. Can you tell us a list of the vendors that are coming on board and helping out with products?
Yeah, we've got, of course, we've got Schriner through his company, BJ's Performance. He always, every year, is a huge part of our event. The things he gets done, and I love the fact that he leans towards a lot of the custom stuff. The wall hangers, the one year where the hood was cut in half, they had them all painted up. Those were pretty rad. Things like that, unique, one-offs, awesome. Guys like that. Rivera getting involved with the skis. I don't know if he does them anymore, but I remember the 6-pack rack holders. You still doing those, Rivera?
I am in the process of making a bunch, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have them back from powder coat in time. But yeah, they're going right now.
He's always kind of donate. Those are actually fun. I love seeing those on the river because they're just in cruise mode and having fun with their little cooler on the front. So those are pretty bitchin'. And then, of course, we've got Jet Trim.
Sorry, go ahead.
Jet Trim, not only does he outfit the boats that are being raffled off, they always are a big supporter. Our last in 2019 there, one of our big raffles is he did one of his famous office chairs, all custom jet trimmed out and everything. and they love that. I think Richie Rich might have won that, as a matter of fact, drew his ticket. And then he does mats, he does shirts, he does hats. You know, all those guys do it. Pro Watercraft, always a huge supporter, donates all kinds of stuff as well. It's hard to pinpoint down exactly because we get so much from our vendors. And, you know, if anybody wants to be a vendor, if that reaches that far, they can contact me. But we always kind of do what our vendors like is they always kind of do an in-kind donation for instead of just paying me cash, because what that does is it goes right back into the event. That's why we have so many goodies. So I'm trying to think of off the top of my head, but Arizona Free Ride's involved. Bomber Eyewear will be there. They're involved.
Oh, Easy Ski. Chris, Easy Ski.
Easy Ski's involved. This is the first year he jumped in, both feet ready to go. He really wanted to be involved. And I welcomed him. It's great to have some new blood coming in as a vendor. I think it's great. I love to see the parking lot and the beach just stuffed full of vendors because it just gives everybody a more opportunity to go see what's new and great out there in the jet ski world.
Absolutely. One thing I did want to bring up, and I nearly missed it, is that you actually have a finite number of tickets. Is that right?
Yeah, we do. So we have 300 printed tickets, and that's it.
That means your odds are extremely good, because if they don't sell out, and I expect they will quite quickly, but if they didn't, your odds are going to go through the roof. Plus, you've got to choose which raffle you go into. So however many choose the X2 and however many choose the Hull, you're only got those odds against the people that choose those. So it's not really 300 to 1. It's whatever the split is, and then however many get sold. So the odds of winning...
let's be clear about that. That's 300 total. That's not 300 per.
Exactly. So
300 total.
Yeah, my expectation is that you won't have any left and people are going to be asking you for more. But we've said it, so you can't really, you know, maybe next year we can increase the number. But I'm
always one to like the odds that way. That's why I love to give back that way, is treat people the way I want to be treated. And that is, I love it when there's not 1,000 tickets, let's say.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to keep it. That's why we kept it at $50 or 2 for $75. We want to keep it reasonable for those that want to participate. And at the same time, we also want to be able to sell them all because it's all going to the cause. So that would be awesome.
Yeah. Fantastic. I'm super excited about this event. Guys, I think we've pretty much covered everything. We've touched on the amazing prizes. We've touched on the history, what to look forward to for this event, where to find it, which is the Pirates Den Resort. It's at the weekend of the 4th to the 6th, but the main day is the Saturday, the 5th of June. I don't think there's much more to cover unless you boys have something to add.
I got one thing to add real quick. For the guys that are actually donating some parts for the hull, I want to start off with Richie, of course, for painting it. Jet Trim, of course, getting the mats dialed in. Tim Barty is going to add his own little twist and flair to some pinstriping. Hot Products, they donated a bunch of fuel lines, water lines, throttle, grips, bars. Pro Watercraft, thank you, Anna and Chris, for donating front sponsons and a ride plate. WhackCon, John, taking care of me, sent me some billet stuff. Flying Tie hooked me up with a gas tank. Actually, my metal polishing guys, G&A Metal Polishing, they took all the Jet Trim parts, took them to the next step, damn near chrome. Roz is actually mailing me a box out this week. He asked me what was needed. I actually told him whatever you can supply me is better than nothing. Buddy of mine, Christian from Burning Performance, he's been actually doing a lot of social media stuff with custom-made water boxes. And then Adam at JetSki CNC, he's doing a full billet, turn plate, and sub plate.
Wow,
awesome! And the Bomber Riviera, is there anyone you want to give a last shout out to thank you?
Yeah, I think the one I think was Mr. Joe Skier for putting his magic crayons to work on this haul.
Oh, absolutely. And you'll find him at VJS Originals. He's got the amazing catalog from all the magazines and some amazing other publications that were out back in the late 80s, early 90s. He's a great guy. And if you want to go back through some huge history of the sport, check him out online. It's amazing. He's got some great stuff there.
That he does.
All this information, everything we've spoken about, the details, if you've missed anything on this podcast, we'll have it up there on our website. So you'll be able to find all those details there. You can also go to at RWB Poker Run online on Instagram, and then you'll be able to find all of Mike's details there too. But I think the last thing is to do is to say thank you to everyone on this call, and we'll hopefully see everyone there on the weekend.
Oh, we appreciate it, Cam.
My pleasure. Cool. Jason's, thanks very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
See you
Cam.
boys later.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much covers everything you need to know about the Whatcha Brung JetSki Regatta. Don't forget, if you want to go into the draw to win one of those amazing skis plus much more, simply head to VintageJetSki.com/raffle to purchase your tickets. Each one is $50 or you can get 2 for $75, with all proceeds going to some very, very worthy causes. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I have, and you've learnt a little bit more about the community aspect of our sport if you didn't know how great it was already. Especially hearing more from the people that work so tirelessly behind the scenes to put on such fun events each year. Well, that's all from me. Make sure to stay tuned throughout the season as we bring you more interviews from our Legends series with the likes of Chris Fischetti and Victor Sheldon, who go over their favourite memories and achievements from their respective careers. Like always, you can listen, subscribe and share this episode via your favourite podcast platforms like Apple, Spotify and Google. And now you can even listen to the episode on our website. If you go to VintageJetSki.com/podcasts, they're all laid out there. Well, legends, until next time, ride by day and wrench by night.